Hi everyone. Good morning. Welcome to another month. We're into spring, and that means we're being busy. We're incredibly busy with everything that I talked about last time. And because of how busy I was, I knew exactly what I wanted to talk about this month as soon as March ended and April began. What I want to talk about this month specifically is the idea of short-term versus long-term relationship maintenance. I had a week in March where I was able to spend that time with my partner trying to get the house ready for the move, getting boxes gone through, moving furniture, getting the rooms prepped, all of the big projects. And we were worried about it, and we were concerned with it, and we were anxious about it, trying to get through things, organize the house, get things situated. And by the end of the week, we realized that we hadn't spent time together. We hadn't done the things that bring us closer, that connect us, that have helped created the relationship that we have, which is the reason that we are moving in together. And so it took until that last night for us to actually curl up and watch a show and just enjoy sharing space and the comfort of touch and making the conscious effort to spend time together. And we had spent days together, but we weren't consciously being present with each other. And so I managed to have my child's spring break to spend over there again. Even before I went there, we had a talk. We decided that we needed to spend the time focusing on each other. We didn't care about getting things done in the house. We wanted to get little things done, of course. We wanted to try and get the house closer to a baseline that we were happy with. But we wanted to instead focus on spending time together and doing the maintenance to not only repair the disconnection that had occurred, but bring us even closer. And so we took the time and we went on dates and we made sure that we had time together in the evenings and we had conversations and spent all the time doing the things that we need to do. And we did come out of it even closer. We came out of it prepared and aware of the constant work that relationships need. And I think that this is unfortunately something that a lot of relationships deal with. We hit points in our lives where there are major life events that are taking our energy and using all of our focus. Because in the beginning of a relationship, we are so focused on just spending time with this new person because they make us feel good, that we don't think about the conscious work that has to go into it, especially once life gets in the way. And I think that what happens a lot of the time is as soon as we have to put work into it and we have to put the thought into it, it falls to the wayside and we become complacent and we think that this is just how relationships are. We think that, this is what it is to have a long-term relationship, is just having complacency and having a level of unhappiness and disconnection, and that is just what old love is. But it drives a wedge between two people. It creates disdain. And if you don't do the work to repair that distance, you're never going to get any closer again. You're only going to grow more distant. And I think that is what causes a lot of breakups to happen, is people thinking that a relationship is going to fix itself, that you go on one date and everything's all better, and it's not anything close to that. You have to put in constant effort. You have to consistently put in time. And yes, there is long-term maintenance. Things like getting this house ready and looking 6 months down the road of needing to make sure that things are ready for my child to start the next year of school in a new school. Wanting to make sure that that is simplified and streamlined and all of that, so that we can get through it easier, is just as important as us taking the time to sit down to dinner together and then curl up and talk. It's all just as important, it's all just as necessary, and needs to happen on a regular basis. And yes, it takes time, and yes, it takes focus, and yes, it takes conscious thought. But you have to decide if you want to live in complacency and fall out of that honeymoon phase that doesn't have to end and risk time just causing distance and eroding what could have been. Relationships take work. It shouldn't feel like work. It shouldn't feel hard, but they take work. And that work should feel easy. It should feel comfortable. Even when you're having the hard conversations, even when you're going through and doing hard things and dealing with difficult parts of life, it's all work. But it should feel easy. It should feel like something you just have to do. You shouldn't feel afraid. You should feel safe in your relationship to have those conversations. You should feel secure in doing the things that you need to do in order to cultivate those healthy spaces. And that's why we need to find relationships in our lives where we feel the drive to put in that effort and do all that work. And now that we've realized what that disconnect feels like, at least in my case, I know I don't want it to happen again. Neither of us do. So as we get closer to this move, and when it eventually happens, I'm certain that we will figure out how to make the time on a regular basis to feel that connection together, strengthen it, and continue with the foundation that we've already built. Because we're far too grateful for what we have right now to let it fall away. And I hope that everybody gets to find something like that. I had a conversation with my child the other day, saying that I hope that she waits until she finds something like I finally have. To not feel like she's settling in any way because someone looks good on paper or has stereotypically good traits. I told her that I hope she finds something that makes her happy and makes her feel safe and is good for her in all the ways that they need to be. Because that person exists, or will exist. I hope everyone, if you haven't found it already, manages to find that too.